Hello, how are y'all? I hope that y'all are doing well. Planning out July's Camp NaNoWriMo has been sort of a process over the last few weeks. I was debating about whether I wanted to use the B6. I even had debated about using this traveler's notebook and using one of my shark's teeth and making a charm out of a shark's tooth, because this kind of reminds me of Indiana Jones. But I ended up going with this because the notebook that I'm using is 5 by 5 times 7.7, so it's just a hair bigger than B6. It's kind of like a wide B6 or a big B6. So the Code and Quill Traveler notebook is the notebook for creatives. It is 100 GSM paper. It has 120 pages and it's a lay flat binding. It comes in this cute little box and it has dot grid on one side of the page, and then the other side of the page is lined or ruled. It's actually a pretty cool notebook. So I'm going to show you my B6 Writer's Bible. It has my writer bullet journal in it, and as well as my writer notebook in it. This is the notebook. It has a ship on there. It is a red company. It is a lined B journal. I have information. I'm going to go through and write down character stuff about. I usually have a notebook for each novel. I have changed things up some because I'm starting this over. The only thing I'm keeping is the prologue. I've been working on it since April, but I decided to. April I didn't have very much of this. I had a notebook and I hand wrote parts of my novel in it that's separate from this. So I watercolored my shark on Snoopy's doghouse. He's got a laptop. Mr. Rockstar wanted to know that no Snoopies were hurt in the process of creating this, and no Snoopies were hurt. Snoopy loaned him the doghouse for Camp NaNoWriMo. So this is the Code and Quill. It is white cover. I just put this on here, and it has this coral color. The first page is lined, but it's lined in a weird way. It's almost like it's part lined, part graphed. Let's see if you can. Alright, let me do it this way. Tighten this up and make sure no camera is hurt in the process. There we go. I think you can kind of see it. But anyway, the way that the lines look, it has these little edges, which makes almost a square, so you could technically make it a graph. So I've added my key and I'm color coding. Here is my index. Here is July. I haven't written everything down in the index quite yet, since we're going with the sea creature theme, primarily the sharks. I just started with July because I'm going to be keeping track of the videos and the blog post and anything that I do that's writing related. This is my word count tracker, my goal, my actual, and then the total. And then here I have notes. I wrote down names and the meanings of their names. This is my second half year goals, and I didn't use a ruler for this. And these are some of my goals, and what I'm going to do is do color coding here for what I'm doing. So we're going to take out my mild liners. They're in my fish cup, and we're going to do this. So we're going to use the key that's here so I can keep things pretty simple. So we're going to do this. Writing is going to be blue. We're going to do other, gray. And we're going to make reading this weird shade of blue. Okay. I have enough room for 3. Some of them are more, but whatever I do, like, I can keep track of. Did I read a whole book? You know, did I read? Did I read? Did I read? Did I read? That way I know, and I can write down pages. Or I have my word count goal. You know, I can put a little dash. Like, for example, let's get a piece of paper. For example, so I've got basically 3 or 4 dots. So in between each, I could put, for the read, I could do this. And then I could put, for writing, I wrote, let's see, I wrote 475 words. Okay, and then when that dries, I should have done this before, but with writing, I would do this, maybe. I don't know. I'm still figuring this part out, but I don't know. Maybe I'll highlight the whole section. Maybe that's what I could do. Whether it's, if I did something else other than, I could do this for the dots, or I could do half of the dots this color, so that it shows that I read. Do the other half this. And then I could write my word count. And then I could write my word count. Whatever way, I will figure that part out. I'm not quite there yet. Setting up a writer bullet journal is different than setting up a bullet journal. Now, some people keep track of their writing in their bullet journal, but I have to compartmentalize. I need to have a little bit more information. Like, this is going to be stuff I got done during the week. This is my word count. I'm sure I'll have a lot of pages that say notes. My goals for this next half of the year. Character notes. Setting, and this will be setting notes. Plot. Phases of the novel, brainstorm, mind map, outline. So I'm going to be doing a bit more because, like I said, I'm kind of starting sort of over. April, I got quite a bit done, but I still need to do a lot. So I'm still in the first draft part. And this is first draft and first draft notes and review. And once I'm done with my first draft, I'll read through it, write down my 5 biggest issues, why I think they're issues, what I can do about it, what's missing from my novel, are there plot point issues, are there character arc issues, create a new outline, and then create a revision notebook list. So here's my revision and my revision notes. So here we go. I'll make my list once I get to that point. This is research and research notes. And then that's it. And then back here, because I know a lot of people are probably interested in this book, as you can see, this is I'm going to take a picture with my fancy camera. Just give it something to focus on. Okay, so I took a picture with the fancy camera. so that you can actually see. I will insert it into here so you can actually see what the paper looks like up close. It does feel really good. It does. So I did a pen test, and I used every pen I could. In the back of here I have my total word count tracker for right here, but anyway, I did a pen test, and I did the pen test with all the different pens that I could possibly think of that I would use in a bullet journal or in a writer bullet journal, in a regular notebook, anything but my art, even some of the art stuff. And the only places where it sort of really bled through a little is where I use the Sailor Fude pen, which is the drawing. It's the 45 or 50 degree. It's a drawing pen. Even where I did this to show, like if it did, and where I did that with that Fude pen, that's where I wrote those. The Tombow, they didn't even. The only place it bled through was where I used the Fude, and the Fude one has the 54th Massachusetts Noodler's bullet ink in it, and it is like a calligraphy kind of pen or a drawing pen. And that's the only thing. There is some shadowing. You can tell there's some shadowing. But that's really it. There's, you know. So I'm pretty impressed with the paper. For a writer bullet journal, this is probably the only problem that I had was this notebook came, one page had, I guess, some dirt or something on it. There. I don't really care about that. Maybe a little erase, but having lined on one side that I could technically turn into graph, and the dot grid on the other side is fantastic. The only down thing is that the pages aren't numbered, so you have to number your pages yourself. And as you can tell, I'm doing like a color coding kind of thing so that I know what sections of what of my novel based on my key. And this will be color coded as well, so you can see this is information, notes, so research, so I have it highlighted yellow. That makes it much easier. I won't be writing the novel in here. I'm going to be taking notes and writing information about the novel. So the beginning portion of this will be about this novel. I may end up at the back of this about a completely different novel. I have more than one novel I want to work on this year. One is fiction, one is non-fiction. For whatever reason, this washi tape's not really. But I'm really excited about what I've got going on. I do have a cover that I may MacGyver to put over this. I don't know. I may not worry about it. I didn't want to glue this on though, because I may want to use this later. So this is nothing fancy. I am keeping it really simple. I'm about to start filling in. This is my main character, and as you can tell, I'm just keeping it really simple. I might add washi. I have a writing stencil that has some things on it. I may use that. But I'm not really decorating. I'm not doing anything fancy. Just the basics. And as I go through, I will be color coding. I'll be writing information that I need to do for setting over here with dots or whatever, and then information, notes more on this side. So this is more of like the to-do or the task list or the reminder list or anything like that. And then I'm actually writing down stuff over there on the lined pages. I really like how that works so far. To me, it makes sense. To me, that makes a lot of sense, having it this way and keeping it pretty simple. I'm not looking for fancy. But this, like, if I want to do for the first week of July a video and a blog post, I may want to do it on a certain topic, so I can write about that topic, and then, you know, that's my goal here. And then write anything that comes up or anything that I actually do, Instagram picture, a blog post, a video, regular writing, write-in, word sprints, that kind of thing, I'll be doing here. And I haven't done a tracker yet for word sprints because I'm still kind of trying to figure out how I want to do that, but I think I'm going to do something for word sprints for July. I just haven't gotten to that point yet, but this makes sense to me. It's not fancy. It's all geared towards writing and the novel itself, or more writing later down the road. You know, like this, when I do here, when I write down in the index, I can always write what novel for characters and character notes, that kind of thing. So, I know. And I split the index in half like this because I can always do another index later. But I like this little notebook. I really do like this little notebook. I'm impressed with it. I think this would be great for bullet journal. Like I said, the only downside is if the pages aren't numbered. I don't care. Some people don't like an index. You can always create your index in the beginning yourself. That's not a big deal, but I like the dot grid on one side and the lined pages on the other, especially for my writer bullet journal. So that's it, y'all. I'm going through and setting things up. I really like what I have. I do have my little typewriter magnet, so this will indicate probably right here is where that'll go. I have another typewriter. It's a watercolor one, but I have yet to find it. I know I had it. Don't know what I did with it. I'll eventually find it again. So that's it for now, y'all. I could use my shark, and that's it. I hope y'all have a good one. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you again soon. I'm really looking forward to Camp NaNoWriMo. Let me know in the comments below if you are participating in Camp NaNoWriMo. I am joining Tamara from Pen Paper Pads Camp Cabin this go round. I won't have a cabin of my own. It's just too much for me to keep up with everything that's going on. I am keeping the Facebook cabin group thing open though for anybody, well, no matter what cabin you're in. You can find the links below for my NaNoWriMo, Camp NaNoWriMo kind of information. And I will see y'all again soon. Thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.